Hello everyone, my name is Benji and welcome back to Dyson Sphere program, where our power grid is suffering. It cries for help. It literally is suffering so much right now. So that's first on the agenda for today, is fixing up our power grid, and in order to do that, we're actually going to shut down this grid and have this grid attached only. And we're going to go on ahead and work on a permanent power solution. And we're going to do it in a bit of an interesting way. So bear with me as I go through all of this and explain the process. So we're going to be using Proliferation. Proliferation? These things. These. Proliferator, so Proliferation, I was saying it correctly. These things give you, as it says there, extra products, production speed up, and energy consumption. And it gives you a certain number of sprays, and it's just absolutely fantastic. So we need one coal every half a second, which means 6 of these machines will run 2 yellow belts, which is what we're going to go on ahead and do right now. We're going to set up enough miners. Give me a second. Sorry, I thought I grabbed those. Thought I had extra miners on me. Anyway, we're going to go on ahead. We're going to tap all of our coal here. And in the process, we are actually going to go on ahead and get rid of all of these, and we'll set them up again later. Right now, I want both of my yellow belts to be joined. And I'm actually going to use splitters to ensure there's no input priority happening and it's all properly balanced. So now that that is set up, we should just be able to run this past here. No, we can't. Alright, in that case, we're actually going to have this one run over here. And I can just do that. That way, we can have these 3 machines and then 3 more machines just like this. All of these machines are going to be making these proliferators, and it is a 1-to-1 ratio, so we will actually have 2 full belts of these. Some of these belts will end up going this way to the science. One of these belts will be going this way to the science. Actually, I might want to proliferate the coal going into it. I know for a fact that I want to self-proliferate this thing. So what we will do is we will have this, and we will have a splitter, which for anybody playing this game, if you take a splitter and hit tab, you get all these funky things. And the funky things are extremely handy. Oops, well, that's fine. It's a little wider than I would have liked, but that's okay. And then we will go on ahead and grab this thing, output priority to that side. That way it always goes through proliferation first. And then we'll go on ahead, add in our wonderful little guys. We're actually going to want these to be Mark IIs. And then we're also going to put an outbound belt going this way. And then over here, we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to put the spray coater down. We're going to put a splitter right here of the wonky variety. We'll put an input, output, and a secondary output that's up a level, like that. Open up, I said open up the splitter, go on ahead, output priority that, And that is all good. We take this, copy it all down. I do love the copy-paste feature for that sort of thing. That sort of thing is fantastic. And then we'll do this, and this, and this. And our grid, obviously, is going to suffer at first. We're also going to need one up here. But never fear, I can put down some of these guys in order to temporarily fix the issue. The power grid is going to suffer just temporarily, but once we get some self-proliferated juice going on, essentially what you're going to see here in this is the little buttons come out, and then the buttons go around and they go in. And now you can see they have that little triangle. That means it is a tier 1 proliferated item. And you'll see that they have a reserve for the uses in here. And it goes up and up and up. And with more power, that will all work. So now, what we're also going to do is we're going to set up, much like we had last time, we're going to set up some coal smelting in order to have energetic graphite. And we will set up 2 belts of coal, because if you look in here at this, it's 2 every 2 seconds, but it's a 1-to-1 ratio. So we're going to need 12 of the actual buildings. Hang on, not that. So we're going to need 12 of these buildings. Come on. There. Control V. Which way are the belts facing? Belts are facing that way. That'll work. So we're going to have 3 there, 3 there, and then 3 here, and 3 here. And this is going to take forever, but I'll let you guys see at least a piece of it. Because what we're going to need to do is actually proliferate the inputs and the outputs. So we want to have enough room here for our proliferation. We've got our outbound belt lines here, so we're going to line these guys up. Collide with object. What do you mean collide with object? Oh, it's colliding with the smelter. That's a shame. What's your problem? Oh, I see your problem. Okay, fine. Get rid of you. Get you back. Put you there. There we go. Ah, and nuts. I can't actually keep it there. Whoops. I forgot that they can stack. I want them all in a line. That way, what we can do is we can just take this stuff here and then just run it this way. Take it up a step, and then we can just run it straight through every single piece of it. Just like that. And then, like I said, we've got wind turbines that we can use as our temporary solution for power, and also just to connect everything up a little bit nicer. Just like that. Now you can see the proliferators are getting charged. And this is just the tier 1. The tier 2 is a little farther down the line. Proliferation Mark II. We need red science in order to do that. And we also need diamond smelting. No, sorry, crystal smelting to get the diamonds in order to actually craft the tier 2s. So we're just going to wait for all of this to go through and do its lovely little thing. As we can see here, these are all proliferated tier 1, and everything else is proliferated tier 1. and I'm going to belt together all the coal. I doubt you guys want to see that, so I'll be right back. Now that that is all done and dusted, first of all, our power grid is, well, suffering again. So we really need to get started on these thermal generators. And in terms of what exactly I'm going to do with the thermal generators, actually I should probably decide that. I think I'll have them start over here, and then what I'll do is I'll take them and bring them up, or I could start up here, yeah, and take them down like that, and then we can take these guys. I'm assuming it can run this many with the extra abilities. However, this is just an assumption, so there's no telling for sure. Aw, come on, that doesn't work, really? Okay, fine. We're gonna redesign that. We're gonna redesign it like this, where we put one of them here and go like this, and then take the other one and drag it down like that. Now we should be able to take this and do, at the very least, that with it. There we go. And then if we grab this one, really? Really? Why doesn't it want to work? There. And follow this line down. And then follow this line down. And then that should work. Yep, it sure did. And now we can take our belts, like so, and then drop these in here, like this. And then we can take both of these belts, and we can actually wrap them just a little bit, like that. And then this one will have to be where it currently is, because it has to go up and do the up and down and all around kind of dealy, and it's a pain. Alright, slight interruption there, but we now have the belt in place. And it should be working nicely due to that extra little boost. Now, some of them are not boosted, and that's because of the fact that the grid was not entirely functional at the time. Now that the grid is entirely functional, this has all of the energy it needs to actually proliferate every single piece. And every single piece is now that upgraded piece. And we can go on ahead and go over this way and hook it all back into the main grid. And we should see, first of all, a major jump, but we should be under satisfaction. And with that completed, we should be able to see whether or not all of this is working properly. What we're also going to do is go on ahead, grab one of these, put it into that, put it into that, and we will have that be the output priority. And then we will copy and paste this for each of our little nodes here, with the output priority to refill the belt. If I can actually see this belt, do that. Just like that. And now, since I think I would like to go on ahead and have some more power, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this, I'm going to paste it, and then we're going to go over to here. Okay, that's going to require foundations, which I do not have crafting at the moment. Huh? Why? Collide with other object. I don't get it when it does stuff like that. So we'll just get rid of the belts. And then place it down. Okay, so fine, that didn't work. We'll just do this instead. And then we'll run this the whole way down. And then we still have our lovely, lovely splitters. And then that, of course, is going to cause us the same issues we were already having. So we'll just paste the actual splitter itself instead of with the belts. And then this will all slowly over time get built. The only catch being the fact that it was not slowly, nor was it over time for you guys. That happened in a split second in your point of view. But in mine, I actually sat here the whole time and watched it do its thing. So now, as we see here, we are getting the coal goes in, gets turned into the energetic graphite. The energetic graphite goes into the proliferator and gets these handy-dandy little marks on them. And then they go in to our new furnace array. It's not a furnace, it's a thermal generator, but who cares? Yeah, thermal power plant. Who cares? I said what I said, I meant what I said. It's fine. So next up, what I would like to show you, because I just did this very, very quickly, very, very fast, were these microchip setups, which I'm actually going to go on ahead and get rid of one of them, because it's not actually doing anything. So I have a stone vein over here that is currently turning stone into the silica little ores here, and then the ores get smelted into plates. Eventually, I think I do have this unlocked already, eventually we will be able to go to other planets which actually have straight up silicon ore on them, such as these two. Holy cow, this one has 10 million silica ore? Oh, that's a lot! This is not as much silica, but you don't need a whole ton when you first start. We need more titanium than anything else, and this does not have any titanium. So this will be the first planet that we actually go to. It is a lava with reverse rotation, which is nice. We'll have free geothermal power once we get to that point, even though geothermal's decently useless. Or we could do solar, because it's nice and close to the sun. It's got a decent solar, there it is, 133. It's got a decent solar capacity. But that is what these silica plates are for. They're for the processors. The processors are utilized in the proliferators, the spray coaters, which is why I went on ahead and did those. Next up, what I want to do is actually the solar panels. The issue with the solar panels is the fact that I need to get some of the, what are they called? Some of the green circuits over there. But in all honesty, what I could just do is just have an iron belt run like this way, and then we can just literally put iron onto the belt like that. And then we can come over here. We cannot grab that because that's going to be pointless. Yeah, we'll grab it anyway. And then we can do this. And what we can do is grab solar panel. And then here, grab E-circuits, the green green chips, as I call them in this game. And then, ah, man. That is the one thing that I enjoy about Factorio as opposed to about this game, is the fact that if you fuck up like that, you can just hit an undo button. And the undo button is very, very nice. And then just like that, we have, wrong, this. There we go. Just like that, we have some solar panels that will be crafted eventually .tm, because this system is very, very slow. Very, very, very slow. It's decently efficient because these ores are 1 per second. Where are they? There it is. These are 1 per second, so 1 stone per second equals 6 smelters. So the 6 smelters are correct. The only issue is the fact that these guys are 2 per second, and we're getting 6 every 10. Or 2 every 2 seconds, so 1 every second. And we're getting 6 every 10 seconds. We're also running 2 of these. So it's not perfectly ratioed the way that some pro Dyson Sphere program player might try to do, but I don't really care that much. There's a lot of stone here. It's plenty of silica. It'll be fine. And we really only need it for the spray coaters, for the proliferation, and then for our solar panels, which will eventually be importing galactically the actual silica ore just straight from the mining process. So next up, the last thing that I really want to do this episode is get into oil and possibly do red science. Now, the issue with red science is the fact that it requires coal in the early stages, because we don't really have the means to not use coal for our red science production. So what I think is going to happen as I look around the world for oil that's close to coal, and I'm not finding any. I am not finding any oil that is close to coal. So what we're going to do, we're going to bring it back to where we're currently at here. We're going to use these 2 coal patches here. Primarily, we'll use this coal patch here, and some of this oil here, in order to actually get this done. Our other option is to use the oil that's here, and I actually think I might go for that instead, because there's a lot more space, and then we'll just import the graphite from over there. So let's get over here and let's see what exactly is going on. So red science cubes. Red science cubes require hydrogen and energetic graphite. However, you'll notice that in the oil processing recipe, there are 2 products that occur. There's light oil, this stuff, the refined oil, and the hydrogen, which at our current point in time, the hydrogen can go to, is it really only, it is, it's really only red science. So the hydrogen can go to red science, and then the light oil has to go to either sulfuric acid, plastic, or graphene. Now, I think, well, graphene, technically sulfuric acid. So what I think I'm going to end up doing for this particular build is take all of our refined oil and try putting it into some of the sulfuric acid. That way we're not wasting energetic graphite on the plastic. Plus we have nothing that uses plastic. Like, we'll use graphene pretty soon after we get red science on the move. So here's what we're going to go on ahead and do. We're going to grab our gathering mechanisms here. We're going to place down our oil refinery, and then we're going to run it into a storage bin because we're going to want it to be stored. And this, you can see, does 2.27, so we're going to just say that that's 2 oil every second. And you'll notice that this uses 2 oil every 4 seconds. So in order for that's basically 1 every 2, and we're getting 2 per second. So we're going to need a decent amount of these machines. Let me run some quick math and I'll be right back. So quick math has told me that 2.3 oil per second is going to get us roughly 1 hydrogen, a little over 1 hydrogen per second. It's also going to give us 2 petroleum per second, so 1/3 of a belt. And we're going to need 5 refineries for this, which is not a lot. I'm going to be honest, that's really not a lot. I'd like to have more than that. So I think I'm also going to tap this vein, which is 2.68. So 2.68 plus 2.28. Let me do some quick math. 2.68 plus 2.28. If I could actually use Excel today, that would be fantastic. Is 4.96. We're going to go on ahead and round that up to 5. So that'll give us 2.5 hydrogen per second and 5 petroleum. And we're going to need 10 refineries, which is a much... Excuse me. There we go. A much, much better number than what we initially had there. So we're going to go on ahead. We're going to place this guy here. We're going to start using our very lengthy tethers, like so. Just like that. And then obviously I'll go grab a fluid tank to hold all of that momentarily. But for right now, I want to go on ahead and start getting into our legitimate production. So we're going to have it come all the way up here to this little border here. And then we will place down our refineries, like so. Since the refineries have 2 outputs, we need to have 2 output belts. One of these output belts needs to go higher, and then it'll go this way. And then the other output belt needs to stay lower, and will also go this way. And if I have these set up like so, that should be fine. And then we will have all of our oil coming in the sides, just like this. We will have an inserter, and then we will have hydrogen coming out on this belt, and petroleum/refined oil coming out on that belt. And then last but not least, we're going to go on ahead and put one of those guys there. So with that blueprint, we should be able to just go on ahead and copy this. So that's 3, and then we copy the 3, 6, 9, and then we can copy this. No, we can't actually. Should we be good with 9? Nah, I'll go on ahead and bump it up to 10. Like so. The only issue was the fact that I didn't actually connect up the hydrogen belts at the bottom. Nor, apparently, did these belts connect up top. That's odd. I figured that at least those belts would have actually connected together in a way that mattered. But I suppose I was wrong in that regard. We're just going to go along and connect all of our belts together, which there are a lot of them. Oil processing is crazy, but this will be all of the oil processing that we do for the beginning of the game. We will not do any more oil processing. Like, literally, this is it. For the early game, this is all we're doing. I'm not doing a darn thing else for oil. At least oil to petroleum. And then we can just have this travel along the equator as such. Until eventually we're going to get to a point here, let's call it, that we want these belts to join together. And then we're going to want this belt to also join in. We will not have an input priority whatsoever. We will only have the output being the single one. And that is oil setup. I just need to actually build it. So I will be right back. And just like that, it is all finished and completely hooked up. Everything is ready to rock and ready to roll. All I need to do is reconnect this belt. Just like that. And now we have oil moving and grooving for the first time. And there it all goes. Look at how wonderful that is. Slowly, slowly starting up, but working as intended. And I know I said I was actually going to be doing red science this time around, but I'm actually not going to do red science at the moment. Sadly enough, it seems we have run out of time for this episode, and I think that oil production is a really, really good place to stop for the moment being. So, episode 4, we're going to go on ahead and start up with the red science. We've got a nice little nook right here that we can make the red science. We'll just have to pull all of our energetic graphite from down here and get it over this direction. We'll set up the proliferation of the science and the science components next time around, and we'll see how that works and how that goes. But for now, I really do believe that this is a perfect site to end on. So, thank you everybody so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed. But without further ado, adios, sayonara, au revoir, hasta la vista, das vidania, wiedersehen, ciao, and goodbye. Please have yourselves all a wonderful day. Get some sleep if you need to. Don't forget to stay hydrated. This video is in the bag, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you again, and I'll see you later.